Dear Harstem, is there any way for Zerg to win when a Terran gets multiple planetaries with turrets? Please, enlighten me. In this replay I am quite sure you'll agree that my opponent sucks. He starts off with a failed proxy 3 racks and then proceeds to suicide battlecruisers into my base repeatedly for the rest of the game. This is low diamond, so it's not like my defense was perfect, but I feel like I was coming out on top. The only problem? All of my opponent's expansions were planetary surrounded by mass turrets. I could not find a way to capitalize on my army advantage because any harassment would result in a bad trade. All I could do was defend and keep up with my macro until he arrived at a composition I wasn't prepared for. Is it possible to harass fortified expansions efficiently? It seems like the answer is no, but maybe I just suck. Cheers, Kilby. And the server this was played on was the North American server, the Diamond League at 3200 MMR. And the question here is it possible to harass fortified expansions efficiently? Or do I suck? And we're here to find out. Before we truly get into the game, I just want to say that I don't think it's a fair question or a fair statement to make that Zergs can trade efficiently against planetary fortresses, thus Terran is imbalanced. No, there's a lot of things in which you can sketch specific situations, and in those situations you might make it look imbalanced. So if you have a situation where there's a zealot against 6 links and the zealot has a battery with it, and then you ask, is it okay that 6 links die and the zealot survives if you fight in the battery? It's like, well, is it fair? I don't know if it's fair. That's an interaction that's currently happening in the game. I don't think it's a very problematic thing, but asking the specific question whether you can ever get a good trade against that zealot with the 6 links, it doesn't really answer whether it's imbalanced or not. Like there's a lot of scenarios like is it ever possible for an ultralist to be the mutalisk? It's like, no, that's not possible, but that doesn't mean that the mutalisk is overpowered or imbalanced. Like certain things, despite them feeling unfair or at first glance being unfair, don't necessarily have to be unfair. Sometimes having a bad trade is completely okay. So we're looking at a 3 racks opener. For example, if you've ever played the game Catan, in Catan, you can be in a situation where, for example, if you require 1 more victory point and you have 8 sheep, you have 8 sheep and you have 2 ores and 1 grain. I think you need 3 ores and 2 grain to build a city. You could trade 6 sheep that you have in your stack for 1 more ore to get the final victory point. But then if you say, well, that's an unfair trade. I don't want to trade 6 sheep for 1 ore. That is not cool. Then you're never going to win the game. And maybe another guy does do it, and boom, sheep gone, or builds a city. Now you've lost your game of Catan. Everyone in your family hates you. Never inviting you again for game night. Jan also is not getting invited for game night anymore. What is this? Hi? You can't do this. Jan, come on. No. This guy has to be the worst to play board games with. Every time you see, it's like the guy that every time you land on his hotels in Monopoly, he just starts clapping and dancing. He's like, hey, you have to pay, you have to pay. Like, mate, that's not cool. Like, you're already feeling bad enough as a Zerg if you're being 3 racks, right? Like, this is not okay to then also start saying hi. Bad? Nah, I don't approve of this. This is behavior I do not approve of. This is also a spine position I do not approve of. Like, let me defend my 2 extractors, which don't have any drones on them yet. Like, you just put the freaking spine in the middle, please. Yeah, there we go, buddy. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. This honestly looks really, really bad here for Kilby. Hardly has any drones remaining. I think I actually mentioned this in his IOTIS complaint form as well. Let me have a quick look. He starts off with a failed proxy 3 racks and then proceeds to suicide battlecruisers into my base repeatedly. Right, not a completely accurate representation. He starts off with a failed proxy 3 racks. I'm actually not sure if this is failed or not. Has this failed? It's killed a lot of workers. 7. Like, the proxy 3-Rex hasn't failed. I think the follow-up might have failed. There's no natural command center yet. That should have probably been going up a while ago. In that case, I actually do believe that Terran would be pretty okay. I don't really find this stuff funny. The constant speaking, like the epic trolling. This is like a guy that really was into 9gag in 2008 or something. It's like, the epic troll. These bad memes. I actually thought that was funny as well when I was like 16 or 17. I thought the epic troll face guy, he was so funny. He's like, I would read those memes all day. Another meme with the troll face. It's so good. Jan stills like that. Jan, however, is a 55-year-old man right now living in the basement. The basement of his sister, who does have a happy marriage, but Jan is playing 3-Rex every night against Zerg players and then doing some epic trolling on the side. Very fun, Jan. In my mind, Jan is German as well. Jan! Are you coming upstairs? We're eating. No, sweetie. I'm doing some epic trolling on the ladder. So, okay, Jan, enjoy yourself. Ready? I just asked him if he's ready. Epic troll. So, yeah, piss off, Jan. You don't want this. What's he doing? He took a gold here? I don't think this is funny behavior either. I actually don't like that. I don't like this style. It's just not so cool. I really don't think it's so cool. Kilby seems like a well put together person though. He's not really responding very much. This is just ready. Like if I was losing and some guy started doing this stuff, I'm not quite sure if I had the self-restraint to type in a normal way, you know? I think I might be flaming him back a little bit. I'd be telling him some stories about getting out of the basement. I'm not happy with this. I'm also not happy with the way Kilby is playing. The defense was quite bad. I hate to agree with Jan here. But now too many spines are being added in as well. I really do believe that. There's no scouting really going on. Hasn't confirmed this base quite yet. There's no third base on the way yet for Kilby either. So this position generally is really, really bad. I feel so bad for Kilby now. This game is hard. Yeah, this game is hard. Piss off, Jan. Leave him alone. Leave Kilby alone. Doesn't deserve this. 5 overlords. Well, another overlord. Not entirely sure about this. I really do think we need a third hatchery at some point in the near future. Yeah, there we go. To go out 4 turrets on the way? Good lord. It's just interesting to me that Jan is this confident. I mean, if the game plan is to build 4 gases and 8 turrets, despite the opponent being stuck on 2 bases, I'm not entirely sure how much trust I have in Jan's ability to actually get this game to a solid ending. I don't actually think there's any way that's going to happen here. Building armor as the first eBay upgrade? You're kind of weird. He's not angry. He calls it as he sees it. Kilby. This guy should run for president. Yeah, he says what the common man thinks. Kilby, my man over here. Look at this. You're kind of weird. I love that. That's such a good response as well. You know, you're kind of an odd duck. The things you do are quite odd. I love that. That's so good. Kilby himself is also an odd duck in the pond. All the other duckies, he looks more like a chicken. Because he's building out 2 spores in the main base. The spine did go to the main. I like that in case there's a drop there. I'm not quite sure what the double spores are for. You're playing against a guy that is more keen on building turrets than units, honestly. Now we're getting the classic triple starport plus armory transition. So this is most likely for the battle cruisers that we were talking about. So really what has happened so far in this game is that we've had a 3-Rex attack that... Well, it didn't fail, but it didn't kill him. And then nothing for 6 minutes. Kilby should have been at a way higher worker count at this point already. He's going into Mutalisk. which I have no opinion on, because in a normal game, he would have been dead, right? If your opponent gets Stim and gets 300 Marines rather than getting 500 turrets and 18 different command centers around the map, then yeah, I think this game would have been over. I love this scout though. Catches this refinery as well. Saw this base being set up over here. Worker count still very low. But so is the worker count of Jan. And don't forget, usually you have mules to make up for that. But Jan actually decided that mules... mules are for complete idiots. Jan is doing an energy saving competition against himself here. He's saving the most energy out of anyone in this game. He's the only Terran. This command center is also the sole winner. Everything else is a planetary. So yeah, there's no mules. Is it going to be a game with 0 mules? Is that possible? I'm gonna keep an eye on this orbital command. The 0 mule game, that would be impressive. Turrets are going up here. Do we have our first mutas out yet? No, not quite. +1 ship weapons is coming in. Second armory popping in as well here. As now Kilby finally starts to expand a little bit. In this case, I really do believe... Well, I was gonna say it would be wise to add in more hatcheries so you can get more larvae. But he actually had a lot of larvae available. So inject seemed to be quite good. Just wasn't producing. Now gets 9 overlords. And 5 mutas. Not a fan of that. Not a fan of the 9 overlords. It's a little bit too many. Going up to 170 supply. 99 out of 99 out of 170. It's gonna add in 7 more mutas as well. This base is, well, completely unprotected at this point. This base is unprotected. These turrets honestly are in terrible positions as well. You could just snipe one. Now there is the +2 building armor as the first upgrade. But there's no turret range yet, so only one of the 2 has been built. This is an interesting little setup that we have here. +1 is about to finish up. This is a really slow transition into mutas, by the way. We're really just lacking the drone count. You know what the beautiful thing is with mutas against a player that does absolutely nothing? Is that you can invest all of your gas in mutas and into muta upgrades. And then the moment you have minerals left over, you just build more drones. Until you have like 10 gases, 95 drones. And then what you do is you just throw Ling Bane into planetaries. And throwing Ling Bane into planetaries is really trading the 7 sheep for the 1 ore to win the game. Because if they can't repair their planetary, the planetary is just gonna go down, right? And if you take out a planetary, your opponent doesn't have mining anymore. And if you have 95 workers, which you should have if you're playing Ling Bane Muta, then that also shouldn't be much of an issue. You're just... Yes, the individual traits are bad, but because you're so far ahead, it doesn't really matter very much. You can... Oh my god, that was micro! What? Did he just individually micro back 4 Mutalisk? Freaking Dark doesn't even do that. That was mad. Why is this guy sending question marks? He's down 60 supply. Like, he's legitimate. Oh. Ah, maybe the question mark was because he was about to blink him with 5 BCs. I mean, this is still not the end of the world. This is bad, though, losing the Spire. That is actually... Do 24 mutas with +1. Do they beat 1-1 battle cruisers? I don't actually know. I bet mutas are fine, no? 24 is a lot. Okay, he managed to get 3 corruptors out as well. That's nice. So all of these are going to get taken out. And only 5 BCs teleported over, right? It wasn't 6 that TP'd over. Or was it? No, there's one still somewhere at home. I forgot to be sent across the map. This was not a great trade necessarily for Kilby. I mean, he lost... how many mutas did we lose? About 14. 13, 14 mutas. And a bunch of drones went down as well. Drones need to be produced back immediately. Gases are being added in. I love that. Problem is that there's no Spire right now. That means that it is a little bit scary. So, if I am Kilby here, what am I thinking? I've seen 6 or 5 battlecruisers teleport in once at a time. What should the follow-up plan be? Yes, rebuilding a Spire, perhaps getting a Spore or 2 Spores per base, because you know your opponent, yep, there we go, has multiple starports producing these units. And then I don't think that you actually want to harass with your Corruptor Muta anymore. I think you just want to kill bases with Ling Bane. So you look at a base like this, you're like, all right, I'm gonna send in Ling Bane over there. You want to test if there's any tanks here. Otherwise, you can just take this base out as well with pure Ling Bane. And then your opponent doesn't have any mining anymore. And all you have to do is sit back. I think a mistake would be is to fly these units across the map before you're properly set up anyway. Right now, it's still not really properly set up. There's no spore over here. There's no spore over here. We don't have a spore in this area really either. And the drone count is still fairly low as well. Now, despite this low drone count, that doesn't mean you can't use your links to turn them into banelings. I'm not quite sure what we're waiting for at this moment. I guess another round of 15 drones. Injects have honestly not been terrible. I'm somewhat surprised by that. Oh, here come 2 BCs. They have been spotted. They're also going to be taken out here, I think. This is Kilby is not the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to finding BCs. So now teleport in towards this base. Quick pull away with the drones. I do like that a lot. Queen's also being pulled away. I think the control of Kilby is actually quite good here. As these bad boys are being taken out. Meanwhile, on the mini-map, I'm seeing 3 more BCs teleporting in. And once again, drones being forced to pull away. This time 10, 12 workers do end up falling. Yeah, the BCs go down, but if you have 2 spores here, I'm not saying that all your drones stay alive, but at this level, like in order to target down the drones, you need to right-click drones individually then. Because otherwise they automatically attack the spore. The spore is kind of like an attention seeker. You know, it's like, hello, I'm here. Like a Jan in the basement, you know, and he didn't get his food in time. His Mountain Dew, new Mountain Dew didn't arrive in time. Schneller, sister. I need the Mountain Dew. I'm thirsty again. You can take the full cans back upstairs. All right. Now, these battle cruisers are gonna get taken out as well. Teleport to the other side of the map. There's just not that many drones. This is the real issue, I think. Is that so? Okay, now this actually perfectly describes my problem with what Kilby was talking about. Is that planetaries are always efficient. Yes. It's difficult to kill them efficiently. It's the same with these BCs. Like, losing 10 BCs to kill 20 drones isn't really worth it. It really isn't in almost no situation. However, you're also denying a little bit of mining time, and your opponent isn't mining while you are still mining. So now we see the Terran actually just continuing to expand, getting more and more money. Like, the Terran is basically saying, all right, I'm just going to throw away these very expensive units to kill the cheapest of your units, the drone. But it means you won't have enough money, you won't have enough mining. And over time, as I keep expanding and you don't have time to look at my expansions, I'm just going to end up winning. And that's the exact thing that the Zerg should be doing here. The Zerg should be throwing units into these planetaries, throwing a Ling Bane in there, making sure that they can one-shot it, making sure that they kill it, and then just continuously deny these bases with your ground force, while your air force takes care of the BCs. With your air force, you would be doing the good trades, and with the Ling Bane, you would be doing the inefficient trades, but the very important ones, so that the battle cruisers can continuously teleport across the map. Here we go, another teleport. This time +2 is going to be in, well, more than just a little bit of trouble. I'm not sure why all of the Corruptors were across the map. Like, we've seen, how many BCs have gone down so far? 14 BCs have gone down. 14 BCs have teleported across the map in the past 4.5, 5 minutes. Like, unless there is a good reason to believe that that's not going to happen again, it might be the best plan to just stay at home. I think that might just be the case. Like, I don't understand why you would not want to stay at home with the Corruptors, just waiting for these BCs to teleport back in again, because you're killing these BCs so darn fast, my friend. You're taking them out at a very, very high pace. Look at this, boom. If these Corruptors had just been idling over here when he teleports in, you're taking out, what is it, like... Oh, math is so difficult. Holy crap. Like 2,100 resources or so? Basically for free, you lose 5 drones. That's a good trade. Now at this point, there's 94 workers for the Terran. Terran is actually slowly but surely transitioning into the factory. You know what's kind of interesting as well? Is that Jan hasn't actually said anything in the past 10 minutes. I think he realized after losing this base and only being stuck on this one, so that when he had 4 bases total, that he probably was losing. And Jan immediately went quiet. He was like, okay, time to play the game again. And he tried his best, and actually it is working out. This makes me more sad than happy. Usually I find it kind of fun when people like Kilby, he's like, doesn't quite manage to win, does something stupid. We all have a good laugh, but here, I'm kind of rooting for him, Oh, he's back. Oh, he feels comfortable now. That was a really bad trade. That actually was a really bad trade. I want to see that again. But I also, look at this. How many links do we have? 55. How many cars does he have? 6. Like, at some point, after losing the first 40 links, you have to be looking at this fight and think to yourself, maybe this isn't the position I want to fight in. Like, he killed 1 Hellion and lost 55 links. Like that is a bad trade. I don't think you can compare. You can complain about bad trades against planetaries if you don't complain about this. Like you killed 1 Hellion. 1. He lost 55 links. Usually I always say that it is difficult to mess up a fight if you just A-move, but I'm pretty sure you just A-move there. And that was really bad. That was really, really bad. Now, Corruptors do take out a base. At the same time, though, Hellion's absolutely running rampant here. PC's moving in. I think the game is over. And usually I would flame you for staying in and wasting this guy's time. But this time I'm not flaming you for wasting this guy's time. I'm flaming you for wasting your own time. Okay, like your time, Kilby, is obviously more valuable than Jan's time. He's loving this epic trolling. This is what he was born to do. You should just leave, block him, and move on. Not think about this game anymore. Yeah, if this got you angry, because you know he's going to continue talking. This is just some life advice. This has nothing to do with StarCraft II. You know he's going to continue talking. He's going to get to you a little bit, even if you don't want to admit it. It pains you a little bit that you lost to this guy. I understand that. I really do understand that. You're profusely sweating right now. I've had this as well against these crap talkers. It's like you're losing the game and there's nothing you can do anymore. You're just sitting there hoping that somehow his PC disconnects or something. The worst is if they start pausing. Because you don't want to be a prick either and unpause. So then you wait for them to say that they're back. But they're never coming back. Then you have to unpause and you feel even bad about it. Because you're a decent person, Kilby. I can feel it. You're a decent person. You don't want to spend too much time with pricks like this. It's mean. It's mean, Jan. Do not approve of this. I do not. 6 more turrets on the way, so let's... These doors stuck. Like, this is the worst thing, isn't it? Like, this guy's talking so big, he doesn't realize that there's been 80 supplies stuck behind the planetary for the past 4 minutes. Now he realizes they're taking out their own planetary. I think the game is really over. Maybe we should... Just move out. What's happening? What's the APM of this guy, actually? 90. God, this must have been a frustrating game to lose. This must have actually been a frustrating game to lose. Mines coming in, vehicle weapons. This guy isn't even producing properly either. Sadly, manners are not necessarily a great, what you call it? A great predictor of how good someone is. You can be very mean and very good. You can be a great person and terrible at the game. You can be a nice person and... Oh my god, GG's even. This guy typed out dance. Holy crap. Okay, before we get into the negative part, my absolute kudos to you, Kilby. This is very, very impressive self-control. I am just... It actually is impressive. I think we've all been in a situation where we play against a Jan. We all know Jans in our life as well. You know, everyone has a Jan in their life. It's not fun to be around, but sometimes you have to. You're forced into it. And, wow. The way you carried yourself in this game, Kilby, nothing but credits to you when it comes to that. The way you played in this game, however, that is a different story. You hold off the 3 racks. You yourself thought that it was a proper hold of a 3 racks. I don't agree with that. I don't think it was such a great hold, but I do believe that your opponent gave you about 6 minutes afterwards in which you did very little. You did no scouting, you did no droning up, you didn't really build any units, you didn't tech up quickly either. It took you freaking 10 minutes to get into Muras. It then took you a long time to get the Muras out because you were massively supply blocked, which is weird because really nothing was going on at all. Your creep spread was obviously kind of horrific. Your scouting came at some point and then you scouted all the bases. That was nice. I really did like that part. But then the moment you saw the planetaries, you kind of just froze. It's like you saw the planetaries, like, oh, I can't trade efficiently. Just sit at home and do nothing. If you're afraid of trading inefficiently, Zerg is not your race. Okay, Zerg is always going to be trading inefficiently, mainly because of the Baneling. The Baneling takes inefficient trades, but because Zerg is always up in eco, that is completely fine. Like, you're never going to win a game against Protoss if you don't want to make inefficient trades. That's an okay thing to do. We're all fine with it, especially if it comes to targeting eco. Very often it is inefficient to target away the eco in a direct sense. Like, if you lose 5 zealots to kill 12 workers, no, that actually is efficient. if you lose 5 zealots to kill 8 workers, technically in a direct trade it's inefficient, but it's good because they lose mining time, and maybe you force the army back. There's loads of little factors in it. And if you take out enough eco, eventually they don't have money anymore. And if you have a massive bank, then you rather use that bank in a fight rather than just having it sit there, right? Having a bank of 12k versus someone having a bank of 4k, like the 12k bank wants that bank to be active because they have more. They want money to be spent the entire time. And if you're trading a little bit worse in order to do that, that is okay because your opponent's bank is going to run out faster anyway, unless you take absolutely horrific trades. But planetaries aren't that good. Even if they're going to be trading 2-to-1, which is, I don't think, going to be the case, especially given that most of these planetaries were undefended, it still would have been okay trades. It actually would have been at certain points in this game. I really don't like that you kept moving out with your Muta Corruptor. You should have, at some point, kind of established a pattern that he's just going to keep blinking in or teleporting in with his battle cruisers, and you just could have picked up all of those battle cruisers for free. It's like, well, you kind of know what's going to happen now. You shouldn't be taking damage against anymore. You should be happy because he's just throwing them right into your face. This is like someone throwing coins at you, After all, you're just, okay, he just keeps throwing coins at me, and rather than just turning your back to the guy that's throwing coins at you, you can just catch them, and it gives you money. So, oh no, not more free money. Please, not more coins. Well, you're getting rich. This is your way of getting rich, and it's your way of possibly could have, beating Jan and making all of us happy. Sadly, you didn't, but it wasn't because of the planetary, because it was imbalanced. No, Kilby. It was because you sucked. And that's life. All right, that's going to be it for me today. I do hope you enjoyed this episode of Is It IMBA or Do I Suck? If you did, don't forget to like, but subscribe to the channel. Submit your own down in the description. Use the Google Sheet, Google Form, whatever it's called. And perhaps next week, you'll be up here. And maybe it's imbalanced. Who knows? All right. Ciao, ciao.